Good morning and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 56 on this Wednesday morning, October 11th, 2023. And I'm your host and moderator for this great event today, Jason DeCanio. And we're happy to have you back with us live on this morning program that has gone through some changes. First off, the change that you saw was the new opening. Yes. So the change of the first order of business today is the opening. The second change that you have probably noticed is we're starting an hour earlier, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. You'll see us back on, of course, Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 to 10, followed by Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson. But Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we'll be here from 7 to 9. But also the third change is I am the permanent host now of the DMS 3000 News Live. Occasionally, sometimes people will come in and fill in for me if need be. So we have a lot of guest hosts who will come in here. But unfortunately, we could not find a permanent host to take over for Brandon Martin. Nor for that matter, excuse me, we have a lot of night owls, unfortunately. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But, we'll still get that search out there wherever it is. But for now, I'm your host, permanent for 5 days a week, and we're happy that you're with us here today. We're happy because of the fact that we're back on again. We went through some changes. I had a birthday over the weekend, so I'm now officially 46 years of age. So, hey, I'll take it. But still a lot of things going on, and we got to work on it. We have a lot of great stuff for you today on our show today as well, including the 48th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. Today marks that show that started back in 1975. We'll look at all of what it was, how it became such a popular show, and it's still on today to this date. 2 more years and it will mark its 50th anniversary. Then we'll look at the 61st birthday of Joan Cusack. Joan was a regular on Saturday Night Live, so she has a connection to the show. Her birthday falls on the day that the show premiered. Nice way to go and start a great career with a great troupe of entertainers, as they say. I like to call it the Sax Comedy Club entertainment people, because they change every so often. You have an original group, and then, people left and then came on. New people came and left. It just kept going. So the troupe was always there, but the entertainment was always changing. And we always got a different point of view every Saturday night. And then we'll look at a book that I am very keen and close to. Richard Carlson in Mindful and Happiness says, don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah. And it's one of those books that I have. I have the calendar, and I'm very keen to the sweating of the small stuff. I think if we kind of look at that commentary, which we're going to look at today, I also have some part of that as well as from the editorial as well. We would have News of the Weird, but that's on Monday, so you won't get the News of the Weird this week, but we'll have it ready to go next week, and it should be a good one. We'll also have What Day Is Today, plus the headlines, sports, and other important information. And, of course, we're always giving you important information here. And, of course, our very important editorial, which I will call a disclaimer on today. It might get a little bit intense in graphics, so keep the kiddies away from the screen just in case it gets a little dirty out there. We also have my, I forgot my ticker there. There we go. Episode 56 is ready to go. We are ready to go with the headlines today. Israel strikes neighborhoods across Gaza as the war with Hamas intensifies. Israel's south has been evacuated of civilians as anticipation grew of an Israeli ground assault into Gaza. The army has said that there were still firefights between Hamas gunmen and Israeli soldiers. Well, all you need to know about it is on NPR right now. So very important that you get your stuff going here. So let's continue on with the headlines here. The Asian Games revealed a new divide between South Korea and the North. At the recently concluded Games, South Korean athletes and journalists said North Koreans refused to engage with them. Some even avoided customary handshakes or photo sessions atop the podium. Wow. And why Hamas and Israel reached this moment now and what comes next. The conflict is expected to escalate even further in the coming days, but for now, Hamas sees itself with the upper hand, which I will give you my editorial of that later on. Then this next NASA mission to an asteroid is seriously metal. A NASA mission called Psyche is about to launch on a mission out to an unusual asteroid that scientists believe is largely composed of metal. Ooh. Billboards supporting women seeking abortions are popping up along I-55 heading north. 6 billboards with messages supporting abortion rights have been placed along Interstate 55, a highway traveled by many women from the South who seek abortion care in Illinois. Formula One weighs changes after drivers vomit, pass out due to heat during Qatar race. Yes, the FIA, the governing body of Formula One, said it's considering measures to better prepare drivers to race in extreme heat, such as improving cockpit airflow. South Carolina redistricting case could add Democratic House seats. At issue is the way the Republican-dominated state legislature equalized the population of its congressional districts, and using technology to open up wilderness trails to people with disabilities. Yes, people, including those with disabilities, flocked outside during the COVID-19 pandemic. The influx has highlighted efforts to ensure everyone has access to outdoor spaces. And Walmart Air wants museums to attract more people and donates $40 million to help. Alice Walton's foundation, Art Bridges, will give grants to dozens of museums around the country. Texas executes man who questioned evidence in deadly carjacking of elderly woman. A Texas man who unsuccessfully challenged the safety of the state's lethal injection drugs and raised questions about evidence used to persuade a jury to sentence him to death was executed Tuesday. Canadian Auto Workers and General Motors reach a tentative contract agreement. The deal recognizes employee contributions with significant pay and benefit increases and additional job security, the automaker said. Arizona Republican Kari Lake launches 2024 Senate campaign. After a failed bid for Arizona governor in 2022, Republican Kari Lake will attempt to unseat Senator Kyrsten Sinema, an independent, in a 2024 election that could be a 3-party contest. Hurricane Lydia makes landfall at Category 4 near Mexico's Puerto Vallarta resort. Lydia was expected to rapidly weaken over the mountains and dissipate, but was still capable of soaking the region with heavy rain. Migrant mothers arriving in New York find support, hope, and lots of challenges. Over 100,000 migrants have sought shelter in New York City in the last year or so. Some are pregnant women fleeing violence and poverty. NPR followed the daily lives of 3 women. Embattled New York Republican Congressman George Santos faces 10 new felony charges. The U.S. Attorney Breon Peace has now charged Santos, the freshman Republican from New York, with 23 felony charges, including credit card fraud. He's also accused of stealing his donors' identities. And what is the Gaza Strip? Well, here's what to know. With high poverty and unemployment and severe restrictions on movement, life in the Gaza Strip was already difficult before Israel's retaliatory offensive began this week in response to Hamas attacks. And at a rest stop near Hamas attack sites, Israelis rushed to help families and soldiers. At a highway rest stop near where Hamas gunmen killed Israelis and took hostages, Israeli volunteers are helping rescue civilians and support soldiers who are being dispatched to the front lines. After a ride went viral, a London cabbie offers some life lessons for the road. Michael's son has driven one of London's famous black cabs since 1965, but it was a recent encounter with a passenger that led to minor internet fame for the 80-year-old. The Washington Post will cut 240 jobs through voluntary buyouts. The Washington Post plans to cut 240 jobs, or almost 10% of its workforce, through voluntary buyouts to avoid layoffs. Leaders said they have been overly optimistic about growth, and hopefully they can resolve this issue and not have to cut any more. North Carolina Republicans enact election changes over Democratic governor's vetoes. One law approved by North Carolina Republicans eliminates the governor's power to appoint the state board of elections. The other ends a 3-day grace period to receive and count absentee ballots. Hughes Van Ellis, who asked for justice over Tulsa race massacre, dies at age 102. Please do not let me leave this earth without justice, Hughes Van Ellis said in 2021, the centennial of the racist violence that destroyed a thriving community once known as Black Wall Street. And finally, fighting with the Israeli signals coordination between Hamas and Hezbollah, analysts say. Analysts have long accused Iran of backing militant groups in the region to counter Israel. And there's a look at the headlines for this morning. It's pretty much a hodgepodge of stuff going on right now, and it just continues to get worse out there. We'll talk more about the war later on in the program. Now let's go over to the sports. Today we've got the MLB playoffs. Oh, this is one of those things where you just don't know what's going down. And right now, the Texas Rangers, they win the series against the Baltimore Orioles 7-1. In the final game there. They sweep the series against them, and my, oh my, it looks like the end of the reign for the Baltimore Orioles. Played a great season, did a lot of great things, got that division, but too much in the playoffs for them, and unfortunately, they get eliminated. The Astros beat the Twins 9-1. They are take a 2-1 lead over the Twins. Let's see. In game 2, the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers 4-2, and they have a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers right now in that series. The series between the Phillies and the Braves are tied as the Phillies took that last game on Monday night, 5-4, and it was game 2 was so we're current now because game 3 was Houston and the Twins. So there's there's a lot here. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Rangers and Orioles. Why? Oh, gosh. Okay. So as we are scrolling down here, today's games are actually going to be this. We have the Braves and Phillies at 5:07. This is game 3. Series tied at 1. Game 4 tonight between the Astros and the Twins. Houston leads 2-1. 7:07 tonight. And the Dodgers at the Diamondbacks. Arizona has a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. So this will be game number 3. Tomorrow's games will be Braves and Phillies at game 4. And two games tomorrow. So we'll get those then. Not bad. All right. So we're looking at it pretty well. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, one team's already eliminated. Baltimore's out of it. I would have thought it would have just been one of those things, but you can't have everything. NHL started last night. Yes, and unfortunately, I have a program note for all of you, too, and I want to talk about that. So I'm going to talk about it right now. We were originally supposed to have the Hockey Puckers start their premiere show this past Monday night. Well, we all showed up, and about 15 minutes into the show, things just didn't work. We realized that one thing, the NHL pushed the regular season back to yesterday or Tuesday night. So we were ahead of the game. So we were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. Also, too, I think sometimes, when you're doing stuff during the day and by the time you try to get at night, 10 o'clock at night to start a show is just too late for me. So I scratched the idea, and everybody was okay with it. But we'll still have the hockey and basketball end of the week highlights starting this weekend at 4 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. You'll see all of that on this program on StreamYard. And then, of course, we'll talk about scores and highlights and all that good stuff during the week on DMS 3000 News Live. So you'll get it all there. You also have Let's Talk Football with David St. Dennis and his co-hosts as well. And then, of course, Brian Snow and those guys will cover some football games for you. Brandon Marble for you. I mean, there's a lot out there as far as sports-wise. So there's some open spots. Definitely on Monday night from 9 o'clock all the way to midnight. There's a 3-hour block on Monday night that needs a little bit of a show. So if you have a show that you might think might be able to go up on the network schedule, drop us a line. Your show might be up there. Don't forget, of course, Wipe Those Tears will be on tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern for the continuation of the Nintendo Entertainment System games. Yes, we're continuing the list, and this list gets better and better as we go along. So if you would like to be part of the panel tonight, drop us a line and let us know that you'll be there. If not, it's going to be a great show. Hope to see you then. 9 p.m. Eastern on StreamYard. Wipe Those Tears is coming to the show later on in the program. Okay. It was a good night for the opening night of hockey. Let's take a look at them right now. Tampa Bay Lightning starting the season off wonderful. 5-3 over the Predators. They win. The Blackhawks win their first game of the season, beating up on the Penguins 4-2. And the Golden Knights, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, take care of the Kraken on home ice. Open up the new season 4-1 over the Kraken. Great job, guys. It was a good night for that. So today's games are going to be like as follows. The Canadiens will be at the Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. Senators at Hurricanes at 7. The Blackhawks will go to the Bruins to play at 7:30 tonight. The Oilers at the Canucks at 10 o'clock. The Avalanche play the Kings in LA at 10. And the Jets visit the Flames at 10 o'clock tonight. So that looks pretty good. We'll look at those games tomorrow and see how well they fared, of course, on the next edition of DMS 3000 News Live right away. Okay. We're going to come back, and when we do, we're going to take a break. We're going to look at what day is today, get you up on all of what's going on today, and then start our wonderful little events with the 40th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. We will be right back right after this.
I used to be frightened by all the wine coolers I saw. I was scared I wouldn't pick the right one. Luckily, I did. It was the most refreshing one of them all, Sun Country Wine Cooler. You see, Sun Country is a blend of premium white wine and real fruit juice. That's what gives it its great taste. Sun Country, say, give me the real juice cooler. If you don't say Sun Country, you'd better sleep with your lights on.
There's someone special I want to look good for. Me.
It's my turn to see what I can see. I hope you'll understand. This time's just for me.
Looking good makes me feel good, so I use Oil of Olay. It's so sheer and greaseless, it sinks right in for a softer, younger look.
Oil of Olay, beauty fluid or luxurious cream to help keep you looking younger too.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, wholesome shredded wheat for the adult in you, great taste for the kid in you, so they're delicious and nutritious.
The whole grain wheat really packs a crunch, but the delicious taste gives it just the right punch.
Table for two, please.
Yes, you'd prefer something in our smoking area, Philippe?
Fine.
How'd you know she smoked? Teeth, Orlando. Tobacco stains give smokers away.
Not when you brush every day with Topol. Topol Smoker's Tooth Polish with fluoride safely removes newly deposited tobacco particles and helps clean away built-up stains.
Table for two, please. I have a charming table in our non-smoking area. No, we smoke. But your teeth, so clean, and he smokes.
Topol, the only toothpaste a smoker needs.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Donald Carey. And these are the days of our lives.
With double-layer design for dependable protection. A comfortable plastic applicator. A deodorant for freshness.
With Playtex, you seem to do more.
A special plastic wrap so they won't open in your purse.
Do more.
Playtex tampons give you what you want and more.
You seem to do more with Playtex.
Now, another way to spell relief. Sodium-free Rolaids. Sodium-free Rolaids gives millions 100% relief for acid indigestion. Plus, it's rich in calcium. Sodium-free Rolaids for extra calcium and 100% relief.
If you're allergy sensitive, your world is ever threatening. For relief, discover Benadryl, the most prescribed allergy medication ever. Available without prescription. Benadryl and Benadryl decongestant.
Feel it in the air. Elation.
A brand new fragrance from Impulse.
Excitement everywhere. Elation. Elation.
If a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's Elation, the exciting new fragrance from Impulse.
Elation.
Today is National Sausage Pizza Day, and it looks like an interesting situation for our history today, so I might grab a slice myself while I'm out and about. The world of pizza toppings is a tough space to break into, and there's a lot of great competition from bacon to mushrooms to pepperoni and more, and most people have already picked their favorites. In the minds of many, there's one topping that beats them all: sausage. On October 11th, get your slice on as we celebrate National Sausage Pizza Day. So, find the best slice. Yes, use Yelp or take a tour of your local shops to find the absolute best slice of sausage pizza around. And this pizza shop hop will be a day to remember. And to make a true sausage, you need something to encase all the meat. But for a sausage pizza, the insides will do just fine. Try making your own bulk sausage for a truly unique flavor experience. And with the two recipes included here, you're well on your way to having an exceptional National Sausage Pizza Day. And why we love this great day? Well, black olive pizza is great. Don't get me wrong, but all black olives are the same. Sausage, though, this versatile pizza topper comes in infinite varieties, ensuring you'll never tire of the same old taste. And it's universal. There aren't many toppings that are as widely loved as sausage. Public policy polling ran a survey in 2013 that confirmed this notion. And after pepperoni and mushroom, sausage is America's favorite pizza topping. And it's new. Believe it or not, pizza with toppings like sausage is a relatively new way to consume it. For a few hundred years, Italians have been eating flatbreads that resemble modern cheese pizzas. But it was only in the 20th century that people started to innovate. That's right. So National Sausage Pizza Day, looking really good. Ooh, I tell you. Let's see if there's any other food things around here. Let's see. Looking, spreading. Okay. If you guys are interested, and I know a lot of people are, because we have people who migrate from, up to the north to the south, like myself. Today is Southern Food Heritage Day. Southern Food Heritage Day. Yep. Every year, Southern Food Heritage Day is celebrated today, October 11th. The Southern Food and Beverage Museum celebrates the culturally rich and delicious food of the southern states in America. The cuisine deserves to be recognized and celebrated officially because it is a testament to American history and legacy. Southern food also represents the essence of America and the coming together of a variety of people from all over the world, each bringing with themselves their own ingredients and recipes to create a unique cuisine. Iced tea, pickled shrimps, and fried chicken are some of the most loved Southern foods throughout history. Along with the cuisine, the day also celebrates the racial and ethnic diversity in America. Southern Food Heritage Day celebrates the best that Southern food and beverages have to offer. The South's cuisine in America can be found in the historical regional culinary form of states generally south of the Mason-Dixon line, dividing Pennsylvania and Delaware from Maryland along the Ohio River, and extending west to southern Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. The most notable influences on Southern cuisine are African, English, Scottish, Irish, German, French, and Native American. The food of the American South displays a unique blend of cultures and culinary traditions. The Native Americans, Spanish, French, and British have contributed to the development of Southern food with recipes and dishes from their own cultures. Food items such as squash, tomatoes, corn, as well as certain cooking practices such as deep pit barbecuing were introduced by southeastern Native American tribes such as the Caddo, the Choctaw, and Seminole. And many foods derived from sugar, flour, milk, and eggs have European roots. Black-eyed peas, okra, rice, eggplant, sesame seeds, sorghum, and melons, along with spices, are of African origin. Southern food can be further divided into categories. Soul food is heavily influenced by African cooking traditions that are full of greens and vegetables, rice and nuts such as peanuts. Okra and collard greens are also considered soul food, along with thick stews. Creole food has a French flair, while Cajun cuisine reflects the culinary traditions of immigrants from Canada. Low country cuisine features a lot of seafood and rice, while the food of the Appalachians is mostly preserved meats and vegetables. Southern food is partial to corn, thanks to the Native American influence. And here's the timeline. Started in 1860, the Southern diet expands. Following the emancipation from slavery, the Southern diet becomes versatile. 1916, the Great Migration. African Americans travel from rural communities in the South to large cities in the North and West. They carry their cuisine with them. 1940s, Southern foods and restaurants. They start appearing on restaurant menus and appeal to a diverse clientele. Soul food, that's the term, started in 1964, describing everyday Southern food that first appears in print. So, how to celebrate today? Well, organize a cook-off. Gather all your friends and organize a cook-off on Southern Food Heritage Day. Revive old recipes or add a twist to create something new. Go out for a meal. Enjoy the best Southern foods at your favorite Southern foods restaurant. And don't forget to enjoy the classics like fried chicken, hush puppies. I think they want to say hush pies and pies, but I say hush puppies. And then you set up a barbecue. Barbecues are an integral part of the Southern food heritage. It's also one of the most popular styles of cooking. Barbecue your favorite meats and vegetables and serve them with sauces and seasonings. Here's 5 facts about Southern foods that will blow your mind. Yeah. Red eye gravy has a unique recipe. Red eye gravy is made with pan drippings and leftover coffee. Interesting. It is more calorie dense. Southern fried chicken breast typically has more than 400 calories in an ounce, but it's so good. Peanut butter is an essential. Half the annual crop of peanuts is used to make peanut butter. And the collard green has been around forever. It's been part of our diet for more than 2,000 years. And black-eyed peas are also good luck charms. And it is believed that black-eyed peas bring good luck on New Year's Day. And why we love Southern Food Heritage Day? Well, it's a day to indulge. You cannot celebrate Southern Food Heritage Day without enjoying a hearty meal of your favorite foods. This is truly a day of indulgence. Try something new. The best thing about Southern food is that it has something for everyone. Use this day to try a new food item or the cuisine of Southern heritage. Who knows, you might just discover your next favorite dish. And it is historically significant. Southern foods have a rich cultural and historical significance. So learn more about the origins of your favorite foods on Southern Food Heritage Day. Yes. So that's going to be it for that particular look at Southern Food Heritage Day. National Sausage Pizza day as well. I mean, this could be the day where you get pretty much a good array of food in your body today. I know I'm going to take advantage of the sausage pizza, maybe have a little fried chicken later on tonight. Who knows? Whatever the case is, I know that I will enjoy that very much. Now, just a little bit of a tidbit here. This is not part of the editorial. We'll have that later on in the program. This is the 56th episode of our show, and I just want to kind of say that we're halfway to 100. And a lot of people have been asking me about the show and what's going on with the changes and stuff like that. Well, we like to keep it fresh. So we like to give you different, themes, different backgrounds and stuff like that, kind of keep it real. And hope that you are enjoying it. Like I said, if you have an article or some kind of a commentary or some kind of topic that needs addressing or something that you think might be an interest to our program at any given moment, please drop us a line at the David 3000 Network. You can instant message either myself or David St. Dennis, and we will definitely work it into the programs. There's lots of coming up over the course of the next 3 weeks. We've got Halloween. We're already in Halloween season already, so we'll be definitely talking about the best costumes to wear and safety precautions and taking all the necessary things to have a very happy and safe Halloween. I myself do not practice Halloween, do not celebrate it. So I'm more into the harvest stuff of fall, but we'll definitely be covering all of the things that you need to have a very safe Halloween trick or treat if you're going to be doing that, or if you're throwing parties over the weekend. What's the best way to keep safe and make sure that everybody has a grand time and not do anything that would basically embarrass or make a derogatory passes to, that sort of thing. So we'll look at all of that in the next coming weeks. We'll definitely touch on topics that as we get close to it. In fact, Halloween, I think, is on a Tuesday this year. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, we had 10th, 17th, 24th. Yeah, it's on a Tuesday this year. So I know for a fact that when it's usually on the weekday, Halloween is always kind of like there's a major Halloween party, usually the weekend before Halloween, or right on that day there might be small gathering or something. But usually, because of the weekday Halloween falling of the calendar, this year, I know Universal is doing Halloween Horror Nights. Disney is doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. There is Hallow Scream out there in Busch Gardens in the Tampa Bay area. So lots to do here in Florida. But wherever you are in the state or wherever you are in the country, I know something is going on that is going to be a tradition that has a lot to do with Halloween and the harvest area. There's a lot of pumpkin patches out there I saw as well, too. So if you're in the mood for a pumpkin, well, I tell you, we'll even talk about the history of the pumpkin. That should be interesting. Pumpkins have been around a long time, and they never get quite exposed as they do. So we'll look at that as well. All that coming up later on in the weeks ahead. We have a lot to cover now that we're on 5 days. Now that I'm on 5 days a week, so it should be fun. And we can definitely share the next 2 hours as we go along. Well, when we come back, we will go start off with the 48th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. We'll look at that great program, give you all of the history about it and how it has evolved to what it has become today. And then, of course, we'll look at the 61st birthday of the woman who was on the program for how long she was on, Joan Cusack. She turned 61 today. So on the 48th anniversary of the show, she celebrates her 61st birthday. And then later on in the program, we'll look at Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson in Mindfulness and Happiness. All of that coming up next on the program, but we'll take a break and be right back right after this.
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm think on a friend to get a promotion?
Yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court.
I'm here to strip for Dan Fielding.
Thursday.
Leanne Hunley's been nominated for a Daytime Emmy.
Away we go.
Now see if she wins on the 13th Annual Daytime Emmy Awards Thursday.
kitty cat craves a great big hug. His rubber mouse, a roll on the rug. My kitty cat craves a scratch behind his ear. My ball of yarn, me being near. But most of all, my kitty cat craves.
Crave Dry Cat Food is made from a unique blend of real chicken, milk, and tuna protein. Not flavors, but the real foods cats crave.
Oh, my kitty cat craves.
Give your cat the real protein-rich foods cats crave.
No, I wouldn't consider switching diapers.
Then Anita Hardy compared her regular diaper to Pampers' new form-fitting super absorbency size diaper.
I thought it was fantastic. She was completely dry. Her clothes, her pajamas, her t-shirt. This blue stuff up here must be what keeps her dry.
We call it the blue waist shield.
Blue waist shield is what kept her dry at night. They're Pampers! I don't believe it!
Totally new Pampers with...
Oh, what a meal, oh.
Hamburger Helper Lasagna.
For your family.
Authentic Italian taste.
Hearty robusto. But not too spicy, eh?
Hamburger Helper Lasagna turns your plain hamburger into a delicious Italian meal with authentic Italian taste. Curly Italian noodles, rich tomato sauce, and a better blend of spices.
Hamburger Helper. Lasagna.
Helper, Hamburger Helper.
Make a great meal, oh.
When I was young, I always thought that Christmas was just for kids. Now I get excited by it through my own kids.
The upside is, thinking of your kids sort of rushing in, a little patter of feet, rushing into their presents, and wrapping paper flying past your head. The downside is reading the instructions for some of those toys. Dad, you know what I'm talking about.
Passion has turned to obsession.
The child is my son.
Danger surrounds him, and it's never been so real.
Will you help me?
Beauty and the Beast, Wednesday.
Jingle bells, all the way. Oh,
Monday, right after Major Dad.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
In an episode unseen for 33 years. Light up the holidays with the I Love Lucy Christmas special. Monday. Tuesday.
Everyone I've met believes in Santa Claus.
He discovered the town where Christmas lives, and to save it, he has to rediscover his heart. John Denver in The Christmas Gift. Tuesday.
We got a zigzagged ship that'll make you sing. Ruffle zigzagged ridges got zigzag zing. Zigzag zing. Ruffle zigzagged ridges got a zing of their own. Put that zigzag zing in your zigzag zone. With wild wings.
Zigzag zing.
Ruffle zigzagged ridges gonna make you swing. 'Cause Ruffle's mashed potato chips got zigzag zing.
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625 worth of extra features at no extra charge from Mazda. You get a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, and AM/FM stereo. That's a $625 value at no extra charge. But hurry, offer ends soon.
48 years ago, Saturday Night Live premiered on NBC for the first time back in 1975 and has been with us ever since. Well, the sketch comedy, political satire, and variety show created by Lorne Michaels and developed by Dick Ebersol, Michaels currently serves as the program's showrunner. The show's premiere was hosted by George Carlin on NBC on October 11, 1975, under the original title NBC's Saturday Night. The show's comedy sketches, which often parody contemporary American culture and politics, are performed by a large and varying cast of repertory and newer cast members. Each episode is hosted by a celebrity guest who usually delivers the opening monologue and performs sketches with the cast, with featured performances by a musical guest. An episode normally begins with a cold open sketch that ends with someone breaking character and proclaiming, "Live from New York, it's Saturday night," properly beginning the show. In 1980, Michaels left the series to explore other opportunities. He was replaced by Gene Doumanian, who was then replaced by Ebersol after a season of bad reviews. Ebersol ran the show until 1985, when Michaels returned. Since then, Michaels has held the job of showrunner, Many SNL cast members have found national stardom while appearing on the show and have achieved success in film and television, both in front of and behind the camera. Others associated with the show, such as writers, have gone on to successful careers writing, creating, and starring in television and in film. Broadcast from Studio 8H at NBC's headquarters in the Comcast building at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, SNL has aired 948 episodes since its debut and concluded its 48th season on April 15th of this year, making it one of the longest-running network television programs in the United States. The show's format has been developed and recreated in several countries, meeting with different levels of success. Successful sketches have seen life outside the show as feature films, including The Blues Brothers in 1980 and, of course, Wayne's World in 92. And the show has been marketed in other ways, including home media releases of the best of and whole seasons, and books and documentaries about the behind-the-scenes activities of running and developing the show. Throughout 4 decades on air, Saturday Night Live has received a vast number of awards, including 93 Primetime Emmy Awards, 6 Writers Guild of America Awards, and 3 Peabody Awards. And in 2000, it was inducted into the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. It was ranked 10th in TV Guide's 50 Greatest Shows of All Time list, and in 2007, it was listed as one of Time's 100 Best TV Shows of All Time. As of 2022, the show had received over 305 Primetime Emmy Award nominations, the most received by any television program. The live aspect of the show has resulted in several controversies and acts of censorship, with mistakes and intentional acts of sabotage by performers as well as guests. From 1965 until 1975, NBC ran the Best of Carson reruns of The Tonight Show, airing them on either Saturday or Sunday night at local affiliates' discretion, originally known as the Saturday-Sunday Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Then in 1974, Johnny Carson announced that he wanted the weekend shows pulled and saved so they could be aired during weeknights, allowing him to take time off. 74, NBC President Herbert Schlosser approached his vice president of late-night programming, Dick Ebersol, and asked him to create a show to fill the Saturday night time slot. At the suggestion of Paramount Pictures executive Barry Diller, Schlosser and Ebersol then approached Lorne Michaels. And over the next 3 weeks, Ebersol and Michaels developed the latter's idea for a variety show featuring high-concept comedy sketches, political satire, and musical performances that would attract 18 to 34-year-old viewers. Well, by 75, Michaels had assembled a talented cast, including Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, Garrett Morris, Lorraine Newman, Michael O'Donoghue, Gilda Radner, and George Coe. And the show was originally called NBC Saturday Night because Saturday Night Live was in use by Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell on the rival network ABC. After the cancellation of the Cosell show, NBC purchased the rights to the name in 1976 and officially adopted the new title as of the 17th episode of the second season, the episode hosted by Jack Burns on March 26th of 77. However, the name change was not finalized until the premiere episode of the show's third season, and the show was originally conceived with 3 rotating permanent hosts, Lily Tomlin, Richard Pryor, and George Carlin. According to Ebersol, consideration was given to Steve Martin and singer Linda Ronstadt also being included as a duo. When Pryor dropped out because of his brand of comedy was not censor-friendly, the concept was dropped. Debuting on October 11, 1975, the show quickly developed a cult following, eventually becoming a mainstream hit and spawning, in 1978, the Best of Saturday Night Live compilations that reached viewers who could not stay awake for the live broadcast. But during the first season in 1975 and 76, some NBC executives were not satisfied with the show's Nielsen ratings and shares. Lorne Michaels pointed out to them that Nielsen's measurement of demographics indicated that baby boomers constituted a large majority of the viewers who do commit to watching the show, and many of them watch little else on television. In 75 and 76, they were the most desirable demographic for television advertisers, even though Generation X was the right age for commercials for toys and other children's products. Baby boomers far outnumbered Generation X in reality, but not in television viewership, with the exception of Michael's new show and Major League Sports. And advertisers had long been concerned about baby boomers' distaste for the powerful medium. NBC executives eventually understood Michael's explanation of the desirable demographics, and they decided to keep the show on the air despite many angry letters and phone calls the network received from viewers who were offended by certain sketches. They included a weekend update segment on April 24th, 1976, the 18th episode that ridiculed Aspen, Colorado murder suspect Claudine Longuette and warranted an on-air apology by announcer Don Pardo during the following episode. Herminio Travesius, a censor who was vice president of the network's Standards and Practices Department, objected to cast member Lorraine Newman's use of the term pissed off in the March 13, 1976 episode with host Anthony Perkins. He was in the process of placing the show on a permanent delay of several seconds instead of live, but he changed his mind after Newman personally apologized to him. In December of 77, British singer-songwriter Elvis Costello appeared as a last-minute replacement after the Sex Pistols canceled, and within seconds of starting to play the agreed song, Less Than Zero, Costello stopped his band and launched into Radio Radio, a song about corporate-controlled broadcasting. Off-camera, an enraged Michaels reportedly showed Costello his middle finger throughout the song, and Costello was banned from Saturday Night Live for 12 years. Chevy Chase left the show in November after the second season and was replaced a few months later by the unknown comic actor Bill Murray. Aykroyd and Belushi left the show in 79 after the end of season 4. May of 1980, after season 5, Michaels emotionally and physically exhausted, requested to place the show on hiatus for a year to allow him to pursue other projects. Concerned that the show would be canceled without him, Michaels suggested writers Al Franken, Tom Davis, and Jim Downey as his replacements. NBC President Fred Silverman disliked Franken and was infuriated by Franken's weekend update routine on May 10, 1980, called A Limo for a Lamo, a scathing critique of Silverman's job performance and his insistence on traveling by limousine at the network's expense. Silverman blamed Michaels for approving this weekend update segment, and unable to secure the deal that he wanted, Michaels chose to leave NBC for Paramount Pictures, intending to bring associate producer Gene Doumanian along with him. Michaels later learned that Doumanian had been given his position at SNL after being recommended by her friend, NBC Vice President Barbara Gallagher. Michaels' departure prompted most of the cast and writing staff to leave the show. The reputation of the show as a springboard to fame meant that many aspiring stars were eager to join the new series. Gene Doumanian was tasked with hiring a full cast and writing staff in less than 3 months, and NBC immediately cut the show's budget from the previous $1 million per episode to just $350,000. Doumanian faced resentment and sabotage from the remaining Michaels staff. The 1980 season was a disaster. Ratings plummeted, and audiences failed to connect to the original cast replacements such as Charles Rocket and Anne Risley. Doumanian's fate was sealed when, during a sketch, Rocket said, "fuck," on live television. After only 10 months, Doumanian was dismissed. And although executives suggested SNL to be left to die, Brandon Tartikoff, who succeeded Silverman as network chief in mid of 1981, wanted to keep the show on the air, believing the concept was more important to the network than money. Tartikoff turned to Ebersol as his choice for the producer. Ebersol previously had been fired by Silverman. Ebersol gained Michaels' approval in an attempt to avoid the same staff sabotage that had blighted Doumanian's tenure. And Ebersol's tenure saw commercial success, but was considered lackluster compared to the Michaels era, except for the breakout of new cast member Eddie Murphy during the 80 to 81 sixth season. Murphy, the main draw of the cast, left in 1984 to pursue his already successful film career, and Ebersol decided to again rebuild the cast. He broke with history by hiring established comedians such as Billy Crystal and Martin Short, who could bring their already successful material to the show. Ebersol's final year with his new cast is considered one of the series' funniest, but had strayed far from the precedent shattering show Michaels had created. And after that season, Ebersol wanted a more significant revamp, including departing from the show's established live format. Following unsuccessful forays into film and television, in need of money and eager not to see Tartikoff cancel the show, Michaels finally returned in 1985 after Ebersol opted out. The show was again recast, with Michaels borrowing Ebersol's idea to seek out established actors such as Joan Cusack and Robert Downey Jr. The cast and writers struggled creatively, and in April of 1986, Tartikoff made the decision to cancel the show until he was convinced by producer Bernie Brillstein to give it one more year. The show was renewed, but for the first time in its history, for only 13 episodes instead of the usual 22. Michaels again fired most of the cast, and, learning his lesson from the previous seasons, sought out unknown talent such as Dana Carvey and Phil Hartman instead of known names. While the show ran successfully again until it lost Carvey and Hartman, two of its biggest stars between 92 and 94, wanting to increase SNL's ratings and profitability, the then NBC West Coast president Don Ohlmeyer and other executives began to actively interfere in the show, recommending that new stars such as Chris Farley and Adam Sandler be fired because Ohlmeyer did not get them, and critiquing the costly nature of performing the show live. The show faced increasing criticism from the press and cast, in part encouraged by the NBC executives hoping to weaken Michaels' position. Michaels received a lucrative offer to develop a Saturday night project for CBS during this time, but remained loyal to SNL. And 1995 saw the biggest upheaval in the cast in nearly a decade. Popular cast member Mike Myers left after 6 years, and Farley and Sandler, among others, were fired. A mostly new cast featuring Will Ferrell, Sherry Arteri, and Darrell Hammond was hired for the new season. The show focused on performers, and writers were forced to supply material for the cast's existing characters before they could write original sketches. By 97, Ohlmeyer renewed his focus on limiting Michaels' independence, forcing the removal of writer Jim Downey and cast member Norm Macdonald. December of 2021, Lorne Michaels speculated that season 50 of SNL may be his last, while Kenan Thompson speculated in August of 2022 that Saturday Night Live may come to an end altogether after its 50th season in 2025. Michaels said in an interview on CBS Mornings that he is committed to doing the show until its 50th anniversary. I'd like to see that through, and I have a feeling that would be a really good time to leave. Thompson has stated that it would make sense financially for NBC to end the show after Michaels' retirement. In an interview with Charlemagne the God, Thompson said, NBC might slash the budget, and then at that point, you can't really do the same kind of show. So that's unfair to watch it just really go down kind of in flames for real business of those restrictions. Capping it at 50 might not be a bad idea. And despite these speculations, no official announcement has been made regarding the future of SNL. And due to the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike, the 49th season of Saturday Night Live was on hold, and the premiere was eventually delayed to October 4th of 2023. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a break, and we'll look at one of the actors who was on the show. She's celebrating a birthday today, her 61st birthday. Joan Cusack. We'll look at her life when we come back right after this.
Here comes the one, the delicious one. Heinz is the thick, rich one. There's only one ketchup with this flavor pouring on. So thick, so rich, so second to none.
Only one ketchup stands for this kind of thickness with this kind of taste. Heinz.
Heinz is the thick, rich one.
Ketchup lovers, now try Heinz in the 64-ounce plastic bottle.
Okay, Jonathan, we're sending you back in time.
Before television, radio, even before soft drinks. Careful. Anything you do could change history.
Comes the word.
Activate time travel mode to the year 1885.
He's there.
Hey, where's my Pepsi?
Oh no, he took it.
Relax, Smith. What could 12 ounces of Pepsi possibly change?
Yeah, what could happen?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Do you wanna dance? Hold my hand.
Now there's a car that just asks to be driven.
You're my lover man. Oh, baby.
Mercury is bringing a sophisticated new shape to the American road. Introducing Sable. Mercury, the shape you want to be in.
Victoria.
But they finally found a substitute for the sweet roll.
Nutri-Grain's new almond raisins.
What is it, nuts and twigs?
Try almond raisins and these great new flakes made with brown rice.
But there's no sugar added. Irv, you're gonna love the taste, even though it's healthy. Hey, don't you have a story to write? How's this? Man eats healthy food and lives.
The amazing taste of Nutri-Grain's new almond raisin. It's news.
It's fun getting to the bottom of one. It's fun getting to the bottom of one. White Mountain Cooler. Keeping it light. Cooler. Crisp and refreshing. It's got the taste that's always right. It's fun getting to the bottom of one.
Original and new orange.
It's time. Time for a credit card that gives you a better deal.
The Discover card.
With the new Discover card, you don't have to pay an annual fee. In fact, we pay you with money back on everything you buy. Money you can apply against your balance.
Way to find that right tomorrow. The Discover card puts money in a whole new life.
From a member of Sears Financial Network. Look for more information in the mail or in national magazines.
Clint Eastwood and his son Kyle.
Boom.
They're stepping out.
You'd like to go down to Nashville with your old Uncle Red?
Living life on the edge. Passing down a legacy.
Gonna stay at the Grand Ole Opry?
And fighting for a dream.
I don't think you're having the shells in that shotgun.
Want to bet? It's an unforgettable network television premiere.
That's the life of a country singer.
Honky Tonk Man. 1 week from tonight.
Why change a good thing? That's what I asked when Oldsmobile redesigned the Delta 88. Oh, then I drove it. Wait till you see how it handles. There's front-wheel drive, too. But inside, plenty of room to stretch. Our Delta 88 is the family car that didn't forget the family. Some things never change.
Borrow the car, Dad?
Some things never change.
6.9 financing on new Delta 88s. Finance rates will be higher as length of contract increases.
Joan Cusack turned 61 today. Happy birthday, Joan. She was part of the SNL cast back in the mid-'80s. I thought she was part of the original cast of the 70s, but that's not the case. But she has gone on to do so much. Born today, back in 1962, she is an American actress and comedian, received nominations for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her roles in the comedy drama Working Girl and the romantic comedy In and Out. Her other starring roles include those in Toys, 9 Months, Cradle Will Rock, Where the Heart Is, and Kitteridge, An American Girl. She also provided the voice of Jessie in the Toy Story franchise, for which she won an Annie Award, and Abby Mallard in Chicken Little. Cusack was a member of the cast comedy sketch show Saturday Night Live from 1985 to 86. She starred on the Showtime hit drama comedy series Shameless as Sheila Jackson, a role for which she received 5 consecutive Primetime Emmy Award nominations, winning for the first time in 2015. And she is the sister of actress Ann Cusack and actor John Cusack. Born in New York City, raised in Evanston, Illinois, her mother, Ann Paula Nancy Cusack, was a former mathematics teacher and political advocate. Her father, Dick Cusack, was an actor and filmmaker, and 2 of her 4 siblings, Anne and John, they're actors as well. Her family is of Irish Catholic descent, and Cusack is an alumna of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Cusack has twice been nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her work in Working Girl and In and Out. She has appeared with brothers John in 10 movies, including Class, 16 Candles, Grandview USA, Broadcast News, Say Anything, Grosse Pointe Bank, Cradle Will Rock, High Fidelity, Martian Child, and War Inc. In the film Addams Family Values, she played psychotic serial killer Debbie Jelinski, who marries and kills rich men. She also starred in the short-lived ABC sitcom What About Joan in 2001 and the hit film Arlington Road in 1999. For many years, Cusack was also the commercial spokeswoman for U.S. Cellular. One of Cusack's most well-known roles was the principal of Horace Green Elementary School, Rosalie Roz Mullins in School of Rock. She also voiced Jessie in the Pixar hits Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4, and played Dr. Burton, the therapist of Charlie, Logan Lerman, in the teen film The Perks of Being a Wallflower. She also played Erin's mom in the final episode of NBC's The Office. Cusack was a cast member of the NBC sketch show Saturday Night Live from 85 to 86. Her recurring characters on SNL included Selena, a socially inept girl who tries to ask out her boyfriend, Biff, played by John Lovitz, who is also socially inept. In addition, she did celebrity impersonations of Brooke Shields, Jane Fonda, and Queen Elizabeth II. She has been nominated 4 times for the American Comedy Award in the category of Funniest Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture and has won 3 times for Runaway Bride, In and Out, and Working Girl. She has also won the New York Film Critics Circle Award and the Broadcast Film Critics Association Award for Best Supporting Actress for In and Out. She narrates the public TV animated series Peep and the Big Wide World. In September of 2010, she guest starred on NBC's Law & Order. The show was titled SVU. She also appeared on Justice Strauss. She appeared as Justice Strauss in Netflix's adaptation of a series of unfortunate events, which premiered in 2017. And she also appeared as the tinfoil lady in the Netflix movie Let It Snow, which was released in November of 2019. Then in 2010, she joined the Showtime dramedy comedy series Shameless as Sheila Jackson, the mother of Karen Jackson, Laura Slade Wiggins. The first season premiered on January 9th of 2011 and had its first finale March 27th of 2011. Cusack replaced actress Allison Janney, who portrayed the role in the first edit of the pilot episode. Janae took the role with the understanding the character would be less prominent on the show, but when producers decided to increase the character's screen presence, she was forced to pull out of the part to honor her series commitment of the ABC comedy Mr. Sunshine. Cusack has received critical acclaim for her performance, receiving Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series nominations in 2011, 12, and 13, as well as a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series in 2014 and 2015, winning in the latter year. Cusack married attorney Richard Burke, president and CEO of Envoy Global, Inc. in 1996. They have 2 sons, Dylan John and Miles. She discovered she was pregnant with her first child on her first day of shooting the movie Mr. Wrong, and Cusack owns a home in Three Oaks Township, Michigan, and lives in Chicago, Illinois. 2003, both Joan and her brother, John, signed the Not in My Name resolution, along with people such as Noam Chomsky and Susan Sarandon, opposing the invasion of Iraq. And since 2011, Cusack has owned Judy Maxwell Home, a gift shop in Old Town Chicago. The shop is named for Barbara Streisand's character in What's Up, Doc?, Cusack's favorite movie. Happy birthday, Joan Cusack. Continue to do what you do best, which is give us great entertainment. Well, next up right now is a sweating of the small stuff, as they say. Richard Carlson, one of my favorite authors. I'll tell you, when you think about sweating of the small stuff, this is the time of your life when you really wonder to yourself, is it worth it? And I keep saying no. I keep telling everybody it's not worth sweating the little things in life. And we should be very conscious of what we, So we're going to look at his book. And it's been out for a while. Let's see if there's a commentary on it. I know there was a commentary, and I was ready to do this. Yeah. Okay. And I don't know why I didn't save this for the non here, because this was telling me something I should have done, was to save what I wanted to save, but I guess not. All right, let's look at... all right, I'll allow cookies on this one. We're going to look at Blinkist magazine. This is Blinkist.com magazine. Has a post on it. This is a book list. This gives a little bit of a history of it, but not as much as I want to look at. All right. I'm going to take a break and be right back and get this going here. We'll be right back right after this.
Irons are now Black & Decker. Travel line that goes in style, keeping fresh press every mile. Black & Decker. Self-clean iron, you can't go wrong. Nothing else will work as long. Irons are now Black & Decker. And here's a line, if you leave it on, it goes beep, beep. And if you don't return, nothing's gonna burn, cause it turns itself off. GE Irons are now Black & Decker. Black & Decker.
SOS introduces a glass cleaner that really works. Glassworks. Glassworks made with vinegar instead of ammonia cleans better than Windex. New Glassworks with vinegar cuts through the toughest greasy smudges faster and easier, so there's less work for you. And everything you clean is shiny and streak-free. New Glassworks made with vinegar cleans with less work. Maybe it works too well.
You're a part of me. You'll be the catch-out. Touch the heart of me. You'll be the catch-out. Every single day and every way I feel how much you are a part of me.
Your cat's a big part of your life, so make Purina Cat Chow brand cat food part of his life. It's all the nutrition cats need to help them live healthier, happier lives. What's more, veterinarians recommend it most. Purina Cat Chow, part of a healthier, happier life.
Superman 3. Tonight's ABC Sunday night movie will continue in a moment.
2 years ago, ABC brought you one of television's most highly acclaimed dramas.
Daddy, he makes me have sex with them.
On Monday, the Emmy-winning Something About Amelia, parental discretion advised. And now, from the same producers, an extraordinary new movie for the whole family.
Why does God hate me?
If ever there was a hero, it was Alex. The more her prospects dimmed, the finer and stronger she became. Alex, the life of a child. Wednesday.
TV5 Eyewitness News Brief is sponsored by Radio 11, WWWE.
I'm Roger Morris. Severe weather has hit parts of Ohio tonight. Tornado warnings have just been lifted in the Crawford and Richland County areas. We do have reports of some damage around Marysville in central Ohio. American journalists got their first close-up look at some of the damage done to Libyan military bases during last week's raid by U.S. bombers. The targets were heavily damaged, but cameras were not allowed inside the area thought to be the hardest hit. Now this.
Ever get the feeling some radio stations have a bunch of clowns reporting the morning news? Switch to Radio 11. We're all news, all morning.
In the Force Beat Baltimore, details at 11.
Excuse me, did you know that Wendy's now has breakfast sandwiches for under $1? It's breakfast under $1 at Wendy's. 3 start-the-day sandwiches at a special low price. Fresh egg and cheese now only 69 cents. Or bacon, egg, and cheese now only 99 cents. Even sausage, egg, and cheese still under $1. So hurry to Wendy's and get breakfast for under $1.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 7.
And now we continue with Superman 3.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Michael? What's taking you so long?
There's one taste that just can't be duplicated.
Michael, you just don't look yourself today.
Diet Pepsi. Taste that's generations ahead.
All right, welcome back. Sweating of the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson and Mindful and Happiness. Well, we're looking at quickread.com. Learn the simple ways to keep little things from taking over your entire life. In today's modern world, we find ourselves running around stressing about seemingly unimportant things. When was the last time you were angered by a comment someone made? A long line you had to stand in? A traffic jam? A Facebook post? And despite our busy lives, we continue to sweat the small stuff and add unnecessary stress. This stress becomes a vicious cycle as we find ourselves angry and resentful when things don't go our way or when people don't think like us. We become too focused on the imperfections of ourselves and others that we forget to focus on the important aspects of life. So if you're looking to slow down in this fast-paced world and disengage from stress and anger, then Don't Sweat the Small Stuff will teach you how to find inner peace and enjoy life despite our endless problems and stresses. As you read, you'll learn why perfection is dangerous and why being right doesn't always mean being happy and why yoga is important for your mental and physical well-being. So this summary by Leah Schullery, audiobook narrated by Alex Smith, and we read from here. Think back to those moments in which you dealt with bad news, a difficult person, or a disappointment of some kind. How did you react? Many times we react in unhealthy ways. We blow things out of proportion, we hold on too tightly, or we focus on the negative aspects. These reactions then cause us to become irritated, annoyed, and easily bothered. And when we allow these negative emotions to overcome us, we begin to lose sight of the bigger picture of life. These emotions begin to consume us, and after a while, we begin to believe that everything is a really big deal. Luckily, there's a better way to approach life in difficult situations. We can choose a softer, more graceful path that makes life easier and more satisfying. Author Richard Carlson learned this lesson a few years ago when something happened that planted the seed of this book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. The story begins with a foreign publisher who requested that Carlson get an endorsement from author Dr. Wayne Dyer for a foreign edition of his book, You Can Feel Good Again. Carlson had been endorsed by Dr. Dyer in the past, so he sent out his request, and 6 months later, he heard nothing. Carlson simply let the publisher know that they could not use Dyer's name to promote his book. Case closed. Unfortunately, this was not the case, and the publisher used an earlier quote from Dr. Dyer and simply transferred it to the new book. Upset and worried about the implications of using a false endorsement, Carlson quickly took action. He demanded the books be taken off the shelves and wrote an apology to Dr. Dyer explaining the situation and that they were taking action to rectify the situation. A few weeks later, Carlson received a letter stating, Richard, there are 2 rules for living in harmony. Number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. And number 2, it's all small stuff. Let the quote stand. Love, Wayne. Well, that was it. Wayne responded with grace and humility. He demonstrated how to simply go with the flow of life. Now, Carlson aims to teach others how to approach life in a more accepting way. You see, when you don't sweat the small stuff, you will begin to accept what life has to offer and let go of problems instead of resisting them. Your life will begin to flow, and as the Serenity Prayer suggests, change the things that can be changed, accept those that cannot, and have the wisdom to know the difference. So, now we go on to the chapters. I hope you're still with me on this. Okay, Chapter 1, Striving for Perfection is Harmful. Too often we allow ourselves to get worked up about the small stuff, the situations that aren't a big deal. Oftentimes we focus on little problems and blow them out of proportion. For example, imagine your commute to work. Do you get angry as a stranger cuts you off in traffic? Why? Instead of just letting it go, you hold on to this confrontation throughout the day. You may even play out the imaginary confrontations in your mind and share the incident with someone else. Imagine instead turning towards compassion for the person and remembering the stress and pain of being late for something important. You see, we sweat small occurrences like this every day. We get angry over things like waiting in line, listening to unfair criticism, and even traffic. Unfortunately, when we sweat the small stuff, we begin to lose touch with how beautiful and magic life can truly be. That beauty and magic are pushed back even further when we rely on perfection. Perfectionism is steeped in our brains as we try to organize our lives and become the best. This focus on perfection causes us to stress about the imperfections in our lives, a disorganized closet, a few pounds we'd like to lose, a scratch on our car. And even worse, we focus on others' imperfections as well, the way they look, behave, or the way they live their life. However, focusing on these imperfections pulls us farther away from our goal of being kind and gentle. Instead, when you find that your thoughts are turning negative, gently remind yourself that life is just fine the way it is. Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to do your very best. Instead, it's simply realizing that while there may be a better way to do something, you can still enjoy and appreciate the way things already are. In fact, being relaxed and gentle doesn't mean that you can't be a superachiever. You see, one of the main reasons we continue to live busy, competitive lives is because we live as if life is one giant emergency. We fear that if we become peaceful and loving, then we suddenly lose our aspirations and become apathetic and lazy. Carlson proves the opposite is true. And when we become fearful and frantic, we use energy that drains our creativity and motivation. In other words, living a busy and fearful life literally immobilizes you from reaching your full potential. Carlson surrounds himself with peaceful, loving people. These people are also best-selling authors, loving parents, computer experts, and chief executive officers. Each of them is fulfilled in what they do, and they continue to improve themselves by going after their needs, wants, and desires. When you let go of fear and the desire for perfection, it becomes easier for you to focus and concentrate on achieving your goals. So chapter 2 says, find peace by being present in your thoughts. You know, I was doing this before. Okay, let's continue on. Chapter 2. So how can you begin to start living a more peaceful and kind life? One powerful technique is to be aware of how quickly your negative thinking spirals out of control. Often we find ourselves caught up in a negative thought, and then we become absorbed as we start to think about the details of whatever is upsetting us. Soon we begin to feel worse, and we become even more agitated than before. For example, let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and remember a phone call that you need to make the following day. Then, instead of simply going back to sleep, you begin to think about all the other things that need to get done that day. Perhaps you even begin to engage in a probable conversation with your boss, which makes you even more upset. Even worse, you begin to feel sorry for yourself as you think about how busy you are and how much work you have to do. These thought attacks can go on for hours, even all night for some people. And at the end of the day, it's impossible to feel at peace when your head becomes full of these concerns and stresses. So what should you do? Well, take note of what's happening in your head before they have the chance to spiral. So if you find you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that important phone call you have to make, simply say to yourself, there I go again, and consciously stop your train of thought before it has a chance to keep chugging along. Become grateful for remembering the important phone call, write it down on a piece of paper, and go back to sleep. If you find this happens often, keep a pen and paper by the bed for these moments. Unfortunately, many of us lead busy lives. Our thoughts run constantly in our heads, filling us with reminders of what we need to do and when we need to get them done. And we stay up late, get up early, and avoid having fun so that we can get it all done. Even worse, we put off those who love us most. We create a cycle of thinking that once we get everything on our to-do list done, then we'll be calm and relaxed. We'll have time to spend with our loved ones. The reality is that this never happens, and we check off items while simultaneously replacing them with even more. Nothing is more important than you and your loved one's happiness and inner peace. It's time to stop obsessing with getting everything done and start reminding ourselves that everything can wait. In fact, the purpose of life isn't just to get everything done, right? It's to enjoy each step along the way and live a life filled with love and peace. Remember, when you die, there will still be unfinished business to take care of. And you know what? Someone else will do it for you. So don't waste any more precious moments of your life regretting the inevitable. On to Chapter 3. Avoid interrupting others and learn to listen. Think about the conversations you have with colleagues, employees, and even friends and family. Do you simply stay quiet while others are talking? Or do you try to finish their sentences and hurry them along to complete their thought? When we interrupt other people or finish their sentences, we are forming a destructive habit that strips away the respect you give and receive from others. Not only that, but it takes an incredible amount of energy to try and be in two heads at once. If you think about it, when you hurry someone or finish their sentence, you have to keep track of both your thoughts and the thoughts of the person you are interrupting. This habit then causes you both to speed up your speech and thinking, causing you both to become irritated and annoyed. Instead, let go of your ego, be patient, and truly listen to what the other person is saying. And while this may be difficult at times, you'll find that the interactions you have with others will immensely improve. If you aren't sure where to begin, remind yourself before a conversation even begins to be patient and wait. Tell yourself to allow the other person to finish speaking before you take your turn. When this happens, the people you communicate with will feel more relaxed, heard, and listened to. You'll even find yourself more relaxed, your heart rate and pulse rates will slow down, and you can even begin to enjoy conversations rather than the rush through them. If you want to experience an even more intense calming effect, you should try to direct attention away from you and let others experience glory. You see, it's human nature to want to feel special. Our ego-centered part wants to say, look at me, I'm special. My story is more interesting than yours. We want to feel seen, heard, and respected, even if it's at the expense of someone else. And this is why when we have conversations with others, we tend to divert the conversation back to ourselves. For instance, the next time someone tells you a story or shares an accomplishment with you, notice your tendency to say something about yourself in response. And so while this habit is hard to break, the next time someone shares a story or an accomplishment, try to say something like, "That's wonderful," or "Please tell me more," and simply leave it at that. When you practice this habit, the person you are speaking to will further enjoy the conversation. They'll feel more relaxed and they'll feel more interesting. You too will feel more relaxed as you won't feel anxious waiting for your turn to speak. Of course, there are many times when sharing a similar story or having an exchange and experience is appropriate. In these times, focus on sharing the glory rather than attempting to take it. When you surrender your need to hog the glory, the attention you use to need from other people is replaced by a quiet inner confidence that is derived from letting others have it. And we should remember all of that as well, too. Chapter 4, let go of being right. And now that you know the importance of listening to others, it's time to let the others be right most of the time. Think about the times in which you've needed to prove that you were right. Oftentimes, you sacrifice your happiness in these situations. When we defend our positions, we use a tremendous amount of energy and will eventually alienate the people in our lives. You see, as you defend your position, you encourage others to become defensive in return. And this vicious cycle only leads to anger and resentment as neither party successfully changes the opinion of the other. I mean, have you ever been corrected by someone and responded with, "Thank you so much for showing me that I'm wrong and you're right"? On the other hand, has anyone you've corrected thanked you in return? Most likely not. The truth is, no one likes to be corrected. We hate it. Instead, we want our positions to be respected and understood by others. Being listened to and heard is one of our greatest desires, and those who learn to listen are the ones who are the most loved and respected. Meanwhile, those who continue to correct others are often the most resented. And there may be times when correcting is necessary. For instance, you may hear a racist comment and feel the need to speak your mind. In this case, it's important to speak out. Most of the time, however, our need to correct comes from our ego and selfish need to be right. So how can you silence your ego and allow others to be right? Carlson suggests practicing by allowing others the joy of being right, giving them the glory and stopping your corrections. And as hard as this may be, it is worth the practice and effort it takes. For example, when someone says, I really feel it's important to, rather than immediately contradicting them by responding, no, it's more important to, simply let it go and let their opinion or comment stand. When you begin to step back and allow others to be right, the people in your life will become less defensive. Additionally, they'll begin to appreciate you more, and you'll start to feel joy yourself as you witness others' happiness around you. Of course, letting others be right doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your deepest philosophical truths or most heartfelt opinions, but starting today, let others be right most of the time. We're going to take a break. Come back and continue more of Sweating the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson, and then we'll go to our editorial. We'll be back right after this.
I used to be frightened by all the wine coolers I saw. I was scared I wouldn't pick the right one. Luckily, I did. It was the most refreshing one of them all, Sun Country Wine Cooler. You see, Sun Country is a blend of premium white wine and real fruit juice. That's what gives it its great taste. Sun Country, say, give me the real juice cooler. If you don't say Sun Country, you'd better sleep with your lights on.
There's someone special I want to look good for. Me.
It's my turn to see what I can see. I hope you'll understand. This time's just for me.
Looking good makes me feel good, so I use Oil of Olay. It's so sheer and greaseless, it sinks right in for a softer, younger look.
Oil of Olay, beauty fluid or luxurious cream to help keep you looking younger too.
Yes.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, wholesome shredded wheat for the adult in you, great taste for the kid in you, so they're delicious and nutritious.
The whole grain wheat really packs a crunch, but the delicious taste gives it just the right punch.
Table for two, please.
Yes, you'd prefer something in our smoking area, Philippe?
Fine.
How'd you know she smoked? Teeth, Orlando. Tobacco stains give smokers away.
Not when you brush every day with Topol. Topol Smoker's Tooth Polish with fluoride safely removes newly deposited tobacco particles and helps clean away built-up stains.
Table for two, please. I have a charming table in our non-smoking area. No, we smoke. But your teeth, so clean, and he smokes.
Topol, the only toothpaste a smoker needs.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. This is MacDonald Carey, and these are the days of our lives.
With double-layer design for dependable protection. A comfortable plastic applicator. A deodorant for freshness.
With Playtex, you seem to do more.
A special plastic wrap so they won't open in your purse.
Do more.
Playtex tampons give you what you want and more.
You seem to do more with Playtex.
Now, another way to spell relief. Sodium-free Rolaids. Sodium-free Rolaids gives millions 100% relief for acid indigestion. Plus, it's rich in calcium. Sodium-free Rolaids for extra calcium and 100% relief.
If you're allergy sensitive, your world is ever threatening. For relief, discover Benadryl, the most prescribed allergy medication ever. Available without prescription. Benadryl and Benadryl decongestant.
Feel it in the air. Elation.
A brand new fragrance from Impulse.
Excitement everywhere. Elation.
If a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's Elation, the exciting new fragrance from Impulse.
Let's continue on our look at Sweating of the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson and Mindfulness and Happiness. We're, of course, coming you from quickread.com on the summary of the book, and we're starting up on Chapter 5. So, practice kindness. When traveling to the San Francisco Bay Area, you'll likely hit one of the 5 toll bridges in which you'll have to pay a fee to cross. A while back, some people began paying for the tolls of the cars immediately behind them. Now, those drivers would then pull up to the toll booth to pay the fee, only to find out that the car in front of them had paid for them. You can imagine the impact this tiny gift had on the driver of that car. Perhaps it encouraged them to do something kind in return that day, or simply improve their mood for the rest of the day. Well, this is an example of a random act of kindness, a spontaneous gift that we should be doing without expecting anything in return. Your random act of kindness can be anything as long as it comes from the heart. Perhaps you choose to pick up the litter in the neighborhood, make an anonymous contribution to a charity, send some cash to someone in need, save an abandoned animal, or volunteer to feed the hungry at a local shelter. No matter your act of kindness, the point is to have fun. And it doesn't matter how much money you spend as long as you feel good doing it. As you practice kindness, you'll begin to fill yourself up with positive feelings and constant reminders on the important aspects of life. Practicing kindness means more than just random gifts and acts of service. You can continue by being kind by practicing forgiveness. For example, have you ever heard someone say, "Don't mind John, he didn't know what he was doing"? If so, this means you've seen someone look beyond behavior. Looking beyond behavior means forgiving people for their actions, something we do every day if we have kids of our own, right? We're constantly loving our children no matter how they upset us that day. Love isn't purely based on behavior. If it was, then perhaps no one would experience love as a teenager. Maybe we should practice the same forgiveness and kindness towards strangers. What if we could see the disapproving actions of others in a similar light as our teenagers' behavior? The world might be much more of a loving place. However, this doesn't mean that you should ignore negative behavior and pretend that everything is always great and wonderful. There is no excuse for some negative behaviors, and we should certainly speak up to defend issues in which we are passionate about. Instead, practicing forgiveness means putting yourself in another's shoes and changing your perspective to give others the benefit of the doubt. For example, when the postal clerk is moving slowly, you might understand that he's simply having a bad day, or perhaps all of his days are bad. When someone close to you lashes out at you, try to understand that all your loved one really wants is to love you and feel loved by you. So look beyond the isolated incidents, look past the behavior, and you begin to feel more at peace in your relationships with others and with yourself. On to Chapter 6, the practice meditation and yoga to find inner peace. Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." And while this may be a bit extreme, your quest for inner peace certainly begins with a quiet mind. This doesn't mean you have to begin practicing Buddhism. You can begin quieting your mind with many techniques, including reflection, deep breathing, contemplation, visualization, and of course, meditation. Even in your busy life, you can take as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day to train your mind to be still and quiet. This stillness can be then translated into your everyday life, making you less reactive and irritable. Meditation can even help give you a greater perspective to see the stresses in your life as small things, not emergencies. If you're looking to begin practicing meditation, begin by finding a quiet place where you can be alone. Close your eyes. Focus your attention on your breathing as you take deep breaths in and out. As your thoughts enter your mind, let them go and bring your attention back on your breath. Do this over and over again, and you'll soon train yourself to push out all the thoughts that try to enter your mind. Your meditation practice won't be perfect at first, but you'll get better over time. In fact, it's rare for a beginner to focus their attention for more than a few seconds. The trick is to be consistent. If you struggle at first, don't get discouraged. Simply show up every day at practice and practice your meditation for a few minutes. Soon you begin to feel the benefits of quieting your mind and finding inner peace. Like meditation, many people take up yoga to become a more relaxed, easygoing person. The best part is that yoga can be completed at any age and fitness level. It's non-competitive, and you can work and progress at your own speed. While yoga can be quite physical, the benefits go beyond the physical body. Yoga certainly strengthens the muscles in the spine, creating flexibility and ease of motion. On the other hand, yoga also is a powerful stress reducer that balances the body-mind-spirit connection. The stretches are designed to open the body and lengthen the spine. Additionally, they focus on areas that are typically tight, like the neck, back, hips, legs, and spine. And while you're stretching, you are simultaneously concentrating on what you're doing and focusing on your breathing. So if you think you don't have enough time to practice yoga, you'll soon find the opposite is true when you begin to feel the benefits. You'll find you don't have time to not practice yoga. For Carlson, it makes him feel young, energized, and close to his family. You see, rather than watching television together, Carlson will flip on a yoga video with his two daughters and spend a few minutes stretching together. Let's see. Okay, so one more chapter and then the summary. So I'll go ahead and give you this final chapter and then go right into the editorial. Okay? So think of what your problems can teach you in Chapter 7. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with everyday stresses, which cause some of the greatest problems in our lives. While problems come in all shapes, sizes, and degrees of seriousness, how we view our problems will ultimately decide how much or little stress we allow into our lives. In other words, do you view your problems as emergencies or as potential teachers? You see, the more we struggle with our problems and want them to go away, the worse they become. On the other hand, if we accept our problems as inevitable parts of life, then we can view them as potential teachers, ultimately lifting a giant weight off of our shoulders. For example, think about a problem that you've dealt with for quite some time. How do you deal with it? Most people have struggled with it. They've mentally rehearsed it, analyzed it from time and time again, only to find that they can never come up with a solution. Where does this thinking lead to? Even more stress. However, if you begin to approach your problems with a new perspective, you can begin to embrace them. Think instead about the potential lesson you can learn from your problem. Perhaps it's teaching you to be more careful or more patient. When it comes to the problems in our lives, our problems are the best places to practice keeping our hearts open. In other words, think about your problems as a potential source of awakening and opportunity. Many of our problems today are created by ourselves because we are constantly struggling to make our life different than it is. Instead, we need to find inner peace to understand and accept the inevitable contradictions that life brings at us. Pain and pleasure, success and failure, joy and sorrow, births and deaths. At the end of the day, problems can teach us to be humble and patient. In fact, Buddhist tradition believes that life struggles are so important for growth and peace that they actually ask and pray for them. They pray, "Grant that I may be given appropriate difficulties and sufferings on this journey so that my heart may be truly awakened and my practice of liberation and universal compassion may be truly filled." When life is too easy, there are fewer opportunities for growth and peace. So while you shouldn't seek out problems that will force you to grow, perhaps you should begin accepting problems as inevitable, natural, important parts of life. Accepting this philosophy is the key to going with the flow and finding inner peace. So, don't sweat the small stuff. At the end of the day, you are in control of your thoughts and feelings. So if you're looking for a more peaceful, easygoing life, it's time to direct your focus on your thoughts. become present, and train your thinking to become positive, kind, and humble. The first step is to notice the times that you feel stress or begin to blame others for your problems. Next, you need to change your perspective and discover that you can learn from that person or that problem. Then it's time to put your ego aside and avoid petty arguments in which you have to be right or prove a point. Finally, find a joy in allowing others to be right and allow them to state their thoughts and opinions without contradiction. On the other hand, when you engage in arguments, you're sweating the small stuff. When you stress about circumstances outside your control, you're sweating the small stuff. Learn to live in the moment, accept life's inevitable hardships, and focus on the important things in life: love, kindness, and service. And once you change your perspective, you'll begin to experience genuine happiness and discover your inner peace. So on this editorial today, we're looking back at some of the things that have pretty much got our attention over the course of this past week. And it all starts with the war that's going on right now in Israel against Hamas and the Palestinians, and the war in Ukraine taking a toll on its country, Russia. The whole world is pretty much in chaos right now, folks. And we are at the brink of total weakness right now. There is nothing that our country can do to save or to help, despite the fact that we're giving money left and right and aid, which is the only help we can do. Because right now, if we sacrifice our troops to go out there and try to preserve peace, we might be putting ourselves at risk. When countries are at war, it's usually over land. It's usually over something that the other country wants more than anything else. But when you look at the country of Israel and how it has lived its life over the course of time and has been the founding country of the world and has been a great ally to the United States, we tend to forget that Israel is our holy land, our holy father. Okay, so you're playing into the religious side of this as well. And there, of course, are people who do not like the Israelites. They don't like Jewish people. They don't like the Americans. Then we say to those people, tough. We are here, and we are here for a reason. We are here to do the work of God and to do it responsibly and honestly. And if you don't like us, taking out our lives and destroying us is not going to solve your problem. To the Hamas and Palestinians and Iran and everybody who's attacking everybody else, look at yourself in a mirror for once and say to yourself, is this worth dying for? Is this what you're trying to prove? Put it this way: Israel is going to continually destroy you. And you need to get over the fact that this is not going to change once it happens. Once Israel puts Gaza in its place, you're going to see a change that's going to happen big time. The Israelites, they're already rising up to the occasion. They've already started attacking. What will it take to make the Palestinians and the Iranians realize that life is too short? They don't care about human lives. They've killed babies. They've killed kids, teenagers, women. They've raped them in the streets. And even here in the Americas, I have seen already leftist groups starting to support Palestine and Iranian terrorist groups for the damage they have done. Folks, I have no respect for any of you at all who decide to go with the Palestinians and the Iranians. If you think that that's okay to do, you are not a part of my life. And don't think you can sway me to support a terrorist group. And Black Lives Matter, you guys can go screw yourselves. Why? Because you are part of the problem, okay? You are not supporting Black lives at all. You don't care about Black lives. In fact, you don't care about any life. Because if you did, you would use the money that you were raising to go out there and financially help those who needed it. But you're nothing but a terrorist group yourself, you sack of balls. That's what you are. Black Lives Matter can go rot. All life matters, folks. That's the slogan we need right now. That's the message we need to understand is that all life matters because God put us here on the earth. All right? And if you don't want to appreciate your own life, then take it. Go. Leave the earth. Think you are going to a better place. You probably are going to go to a better place. But if you don't like the fact that you're here on the earth right now, suicide is your thing, probably. I don't know. But that's kind of a psychological thing as well. But you got to remember, folks, we're here for a reason. We're here to do God's work. And again, an editorial is an opinionated statement here. But the thing we got to understand is that we're fighting for life. War is life, okay? We're fighting for freedom, peace. And unfortunately, we don't have a president who is fighting for the same reasons we're fighting for. If you think Joe Biden is doing a good job with the war, tell you right now, he's making money off of you and me. Yes. He is receiving funds from the Iranian and Palestinian governments right now as we speak. As long as this war is going on, he is making money. And as long as there's a war in the future, he will continue to receive funds. But the news people are not going to tell you that. They're going to draw a theory and maybe come up with a kind of a question as to how he's doing it. Dude, when you sign a contract to a foreign government to shut the hell up and not say anything and not attack, you'll get your money. The minute you break that contract and start talking about them, you don't get your money. And right now, Joe Biden, all he cares about is the money. All he cares about is his little heart, which he has none. And you should be ashamed of yourself, Mr. President. You should be ashamed of what you caused out there in the world. This is your responsibility, and you need to take initiative and be held accountable for it. And if you don't want to take initiative on it, someone else is going to clean up your mess like Jimmy Carter back in the days when Ronald Reagan had to step up to the plate and do what needed to be done to save those hostages. Yes, folks, that's what President Reagan did. Okay? This is exactly the same kind of situation we dealt with over 45 years ago. Okay? 45 years ago to the date. And you don't like this, and you don't like it be told, well, this is the truth. The truth of the matter is the future of our country depends on what's going on right now in the world. Your very future, folks, depends on what Israel does and if they come out of this alive. You need to pray for the Israelites. You need to pray for their country right now so that they have the strength and the courage to fight for your freedom. You know, when freedom is being tested every day, it's really disheartening to know that there are people in our very United States that don't care about freedom, the very freedom you have. Why? Why test it? Okay? When Trump was president, none of this happened. So don't tell me that Trump is a bad president and he started all this. He's not a bad president because he kept the peace. He kept the borders closed and he kept everybody in check. Right now, accountability needs to be the big thing. Right now, accountability needs to be the big thing. And for the lady in the Senate who has that Palestinian flag outside her office, shame on you. You need to step up to the podium and explain why you support a terrorist group that has beheaded 4,000 babies. A reporter who asked you a simple question and you couldn't give a simple answer nor look at the woman, for that matter. We saw you on TV. We know what you're about. You're a racist. You're a backstabbing bitch. That's what you are. And I'm going to say it right here. You are a backstabber. You are a disgrace to the United States of America, lady. In the Congress, you should be ousted for your behavior. Yeah, you may say it's okay to freely express yourself as a Palestinian and an Iranian, But here's the bottom line. We know how you think, you leftist scum. And this is your fault. You Democrats out there, this is all your fault. You have no business starting this. So don't go and start blaming Republicans for the stuff that's going on, because the Republicans are trying to clean up what you guys have already destroyed. And I say this because I'm an American, I'm a conservative, and I'm someone who's damn proud of the United States of America. I've lived in this country for 46 years, done what I've had to do to make it right. And what I see out there is disgusting. The behaviors of people, great people who've gone to college and got great educations, thinking backwards. Folks, you need to get a life and grow up. If you believe that terrorism and dishonesty and violence is the way of life, I don't want any part of you. I don't want to know who you are. I don't care how you live your life. But don't include me in your sick, twisted ways, because I will never give in to that. Evil is nothing to me. I am a child of God, and I will always have Jesus Christ in my life. Whether or not I go to church, that has nothing to do with it. I am still a practicing Catholic and very proud of it. The disgusting things that are going on right now, folks, this is history in the making. But here's the problem. If we let this go and not bother to talk about it, we set ourselves up for what's going to happen. We're going to just take what's going to happen. Well, this is beyond our control, yes, and we shouldn't sweat the small stuff. But in the editorial part of this whole thing, I have a saying here. I have a right to say what I want to say within the guidelines, and I will say it. I believe that the Israelites will come through and save what they can save, yet the cost of human life is too precious. Folks, I don't know why we are killing off people in our world. And not only in our country, but in our world. What are we gaining? Nothing. We can't bring those people back. They are suffering at the hands of terrorists and governments that don't care, and including our own government that don't care. One side of the government that don't care is heartless and wants to just receive war profits. That's all it is right now. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're trying to get ourselves ready for the 2024 election. You would think that the stuff that's going on, the stuff that's been started by this president, would cost him his election next year. No. You're going to vote for Joe Biden because you want that scumbag in there to just continually sit around and do nothing and be a lazy ass and show an example of how great it is to sit there on your ass and receive $200,000 a year and do nothing but twiddle your thumbs and feel sorry for yourself and go back to Delaware every weekend for 3 days and sit there while the world suffers at your hands. Is that the kind of future you want? Or do you want somebody like Donald Trump or somebody on the Republican side of the party that actually cares about the country and the world, for that matter? Again, we go back to what we said before. You make the choice. Your future is at stake. Your freedom is at stake. Do not take it for granted. Freedom is a gift. It's not a privilege. It's not a right. It's a gift. And that freedom is being taken away and challenged every day of our lives, folks. We need to understand that the freedom we have is not going to be around here for long if we put the wrong people in the wrong places. Think about that for one day of your life. Put everything aside and think about what is being said. Now, of course, you're going to read, you're going to listen to a lot of things. You're going to listen to me. You're going to listen to somebody else. You're going to hear differences of opinions, but you have to draw your own conclusions. You have to make the decision to decide what you're going to do. Do you take the good side and pray for those who are fighting against terrorism and violence and trying to restore order and peace in our world? Or do you take the side of the terrorists themselves and join the group and be once among them so that way you're not a threat? What do you decide to do? That's what you got to think about. And again, I say, if you just choose the worst of it, don't be a part of my life, because I'm not going to accept anything less than good, honest people to be friends with and to interact with. That's all I've got for today, folks. Have a great day. Make it a good one, always, because in this world, life's too short. Remember, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We'll see you tomorrow for more great news and events right here on DMS 3000 News Live. Bye for now.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David Madison Network for great more content like this one.